From MMA Fighting Studios, this is Between the Links. And now, your host, Mike Heck.
The iconic voice, Sylvester Lynn, and Shiloh, the Wonder Dog, welcome you to a brand new edition of Between the Links. Happy Thursday to us all. It's the final live BTL of 2025. Shiloh, thanks you for joining us. I also thank you for joining us. And Shiloh's like, put me down right now, and that's what we're going to do. So, go ahead, buddy. There you go. He's okay, folks. He's okay. But thank you. Hope you guys are having a great week. A lot going on, obviously. And it's going to be a good time. Final Q&A, final live show. And joining me to answer all of your questions, the Hot Take Kid, Mr. No Gray Area himself from MMAfighting.com. Also, with a very special guest, Otto the Wonder Dog, the one and only Jed Bashu. Jed, how we doing?
And up on the woof, there arose such a clatter, Mike. We're very seasonal here. Though Otto doesn't have the same sort of festive collar. Otto also doesn't want to be here. He's been sitting there waiting for us to start for a hot minute. I'm doing great, Mike. Our last BTL, our last live BTL of the season. And I don't know, stuff's happened. I guess we'll talk about it. We'll just chat with the peeps is really, I think, primarily what I'm about today.
Yeah, I think that's probably the way to go here on this Thursday, because just a bunch of like weird and wacky stuff with Jake Paul and Anthony Joshua going down, and Ilia Topuria giving an update, Alex Pereira saying no mas to the White House. Whether we believe him or not is a whole other conversation, but yeah, lots happening in the world of combat sports. UFC is done for 2025. So we figure, hey, let's open up the old chat, talk to the peeps once again, and just wrap things up in a good way. Obviously, Jed and I will be back. We will drop a Christmas Day edition of BTL.
Oh, that is coming out Christmas Day. That's fancy.
Christmas Day for your drives, your whatever travel way you're going to wherever you're going.
I'll in fact be driving, so I'll listen to us while driving on Christmas Day. So that'll be fun.
That'll be on the podcast network, wherever you find your pods. It is our annual promotional Festivus episode where, we're running out of promotions to really talk about here, but
pretty true.
We'll grade the UFC, we'll grade PFL, maybe sprinkle in some one. GFL definitely has to get mentioned here. I think I think be doing a disservice.
Be a great time.
I can't
we'll have a
wait
great
for
time
that.
with them.
I can't wait for that. And then Jed and I will pinpoint a promotion or two that made some waves and what they could do better, what they didn't do great. But we'll have a good time. It's one of our favorite episodes, kind of just hit record and talk the good and the bad of the major promotions in the sport of mixed martial arts.
I'm slightly distracted because I'm trying to figure out how much money I can move because my sports book has Anthony Joshua at -800. And that is the best financial investment I can make. So like that's, it's not going to explode in like I'm ground floor of Bitcoin, but I'm going to get a healthy return in a matter of hours. And I am trying to figure out how much I can physically put on that on the off chance the fight is fixed, because all my, I asked my friends this morning and they were all like, that's, we were talking about it and like, how can he win? And I was like, he can't. Jake Paul cannot win this fight. The only way he can win is if the fight is fixed, which doesn't really happen. Like it happens some, certainly, but it rarely happens at like high profile boxing events. And an event of this magnitude, it would be the greatest fix of all time. And so I'm just trying to figure out how much money I can liquidate to put on Anthony Joshua, because -800 is insane.
I mean, you have some leftover sort of grace from the climb, right? You've taken some shots on some not -500, some like -200s and such.
Well,
so
the climb died.
Could you climb?
No, the climb's dead.
Oh,
The climb died. How did it die?
It didn't die last week, did it?
No, it died at 323. Oh, with Marab. The climb died with Marab.
Yes.
And I didn't do one last week because I was like, we'll push over. And so then this morning I was like, let me just see. Maybe I'll climb with Joshua by KO, which like could be done, but I think there is a world where Anthony Joshua just lets him hang around to not be mean, even though I don't think that's likely. But then my book was just like, oh, it's minus 800. I was like, let me figure out how much money I can get to get on this.
Well, that will be fun. And we can see how it all plays out. Jed's reaction on Watch Party tomorrow for Paul versus Joshua. Jed and I will be watching the fights with all of you guys. It'll be a terrific time. So 8 p.m. Eastern, we'll watch the whole main card together. We'll watch Silva Woodley and the 2 other fights that are happening besides that fight and the Jake Paul Anthony Joshua fight. So yeah, we'll have a great time. And yeah. All right, super chat right off the bat. RS40, is Arman closer to the title now with Ilia's stuff going on? Also, which big fight would you book? Mine are Fluffy Hamzat or Islam versus Shafkat. Jed, I would say you support the Islam Shafkat thing. So
Islam Shafkat is the number 1 fight I would like to see the most in the whole of the sport at this moment in time.
So if you guys are wondering what is going on here with Ilia Topuria, if you guys missed it, he dropped a social media statement earlier this week. I'm not going to read the entire thing, but here's sort of the first couple of paragraphs of the statement, which you can find. MMAfighting.com. It's a great website. Quote, over the past several weeks, I have made the difficult decision to temporarily step away from defending my title. This is not a decision I took lightly. However, when circumstances arise that threaten your personal integrity, your family, and your reputation, there comes a point when you must address them directly. In recent months, I've been subjected to severe and unacceptable pressure, including threats to disseminate false allegations of domestic abuse unless financial demands were met. These allegations are entirely unfounded. The truth is not a matter of opinion. It is a matter of evidence. All relevant evidence has been carefully preserved and documented, including audio recordings, written communications, witness statements, and video material. And let's see what else he says. Kind of goes into it a little bit more. My initial decision to remain silent was made solely to protect my children, who are the most important part of my life. However, I've come to understand that silence under those circumstances does not protect the truth. It allows false narratives to take hold. He continues on, out of respect for my children and the ongoing legal proceedings, I will not be making any further public statements. I respectfully ask that speculation be avoided and that my family's privacy be honored during this sensitive time. The truth does not require volume. It requires facts. Thank you. So we knew Ilia was taking some time off. He addressed this before Dana announced the interim title fight on Thanksgiving. Now we have a little bit more of a reason as to why he's taking this time off to try to clear this thing up. But so obviously, as Ilia says, we're not going to speculate because we don't really know anything. This is Ilia kind of putting out his side, and we'll see how it all plays out. I'm sure if it does play out in any way, it'll go very public. But in terms of what this means at 155 pounds, Jed, should Arman feel... I'm not going to say he feels good about this because, you know, as a human being, I'm sure he probably feels for everybody involved here in some way, shape, or form. But in terms of where he sits right now, in terms of title hopes, does Ilia taking this time off, Ilia now explaining as to why he's taking this time off, does this put Arman in a situation where he might fight the winner of Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett?
I mean, I guess it depends on what you consider good for Arman. I do think this makes it much more likely he fights the winner of Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett. And you would generally assume that that would be for the undisputed belt, that they would vacate Ilia's title at that point in time. But I don't assume anything with the UFC at this point. Like they're just going to do whatever they think is good for business, and any sort of rational thought be damned. And I would also say that it's not good because what's good for him is fighting Ilia Topuria. Like, it'll be like if he wins a belt, and that belt will frankly be just as valid as Ilia's belt. Well, I mean, actually, it's argued it is much more valid if Arman beats the winner of Gaethje Pimblett. Like that's at least a legitimate lightweight title, whereas Ilia's has an asterisk in my opinion. But like, that's when we mentioned earlier, I want Islam versus Shavkat and Ilia versus Arman. Those are the two fights I would like to see the most. And I think Arman should want the Ilia fight too. Like, it's the one that outside of a belt will just up his profile more. And so, yeah, this might be better that he's not going to be shelved as long potentially, because like if Ilia does return, then Armin's just sort of waiting until at the earliest the end of 2026. But it just the UFC have really screwed the pooch at lightweight in a way that is very bothersome to me.
Yeah, I hope we get Arman versus Ilia at some point. I was hoping we get the Arman Islam rematch at some point. We tried, and the UFC tried. It just didn't happen. So unfortunately, we probably won't get that one. But maybe we get Arman Ilia. Maybe we don't. I don't know. I've long stood by that. I think Ilia is just going to fight like a couple more times and just be done, because he's one of those guys.
You said that.
Yeah, I mean, I've been saying it for a while. Like, I don't think he's long for this sport. He's just got so many irons in the fire, and he doesn't need it in terms of like his financial freedom. He makes tons of money doing a million other things. So yeah, we'll see what happens. And obviously, whatever happens with the story as it comes out, we'll keep you posted on MMAfighting.com. But yeah, the Arman stuff.
There are some other rumors out there that they're just unsubstantiated, but this might get real messy.
Good. It could. Doesn't seem, if that statement comes out, then usually it means we're in for something.
Yeah, that statement is also, again, this is entirely reading between lines. That's like a real preemptory statement of like, something's happening, so I'd rather be the first guy out of the door than be on the back foot responding to allegations that will come. So I suspect that the next 6 months are going to be rather messy for Ilia Topuria. And so, like, under that context, it does make a lot more sense to have an interim title fight in general. Still doesn't make sense that Arman's not part of it. I mean, it makes sense, but like business-wise. But yeah, this man, Ilia's really just running down the Conor playbook. It's impressive.
We will see what happens. Joseph, does Alex Pereira saying no go at the White House mean that if he did go there, he would likely face Ulberg and not John Jones? I don't think he's fighting at the White House. If he's not fighting John, if we're being honest.
Correct. My belief is that, and this is all one, Alex has, it was a whole story last year or earlier this year. I don't remember. Maybe it was earlier this year when Alex was like, F the UFC, and then 2 days later he was like, never mind, and I didn't say any of that. I got hacked. But if I did get hacked, I didn't mean it. And it's just like,
and then he admitted that he didn't get hacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes he just gets in his feelings and tweets some stuff. And the correct answer is never post. You should just never post. But like, my best read of that is, they want him to fight Ulberg before the White House card. Because they definitely don't want him to fight Ulberg at the White House card. That'd be useless and stupid. So, but then that shouldn't like remove the possibility of the White House card. Just go fight Carlos Ulberg in March or April, and then turn around and fight in June.
Yeah. I think he's going to probably, I mean, if he's not fighting at the White House, that means he's not fighting John. And Dana's been, not that we believe everything Dana says, but Dana has been steadfast.
Kind of by this one.
Yeah, Dana has been steadfast that John Jones will not be fighting at the White House.
It's so stupid. Just have John fight Alex at the White House. This isn't hard. This is just deeply not difficult. Honestly, like, no one cares about John fighting real people. Like, have him fight Alex. That's fine. They both want it. The fans will like it. It's weird and special and significant. It doesn't have to be for a belt or anything. Like, I know John did you wrong, and like that sucks. But who gives a F, man? Just have those two dudes fight at the White House. Those two dudes and Conor versus Chandler. And then if Conor falls out, because that's like 50-50, at best 50-50, you still have John there. Like, this is not difficult. And I like when Dana keeps being like, we'll start matchmaking for that in February. I'm like, dude, why? Like, I can do this for you. I won't even charge you. This is free, Dana. This is free. John versus Poatan, Connor versus Chandler. Put whatever the shit you want on the rest of it. No one will care if you just pick people out of the crowd to fight for the undercard. If those are the two at the top, you have, like I just said, you have some insulation. If Connor falls through, it's big, it's spectacular. Donald Trump will be enthusiastic that you have feted his birthday with such a magnificent event. Everyone will be happy. Like, this is, I don't understand it, Mike. I genuinely don't get it. There is a way to do good business and make all parties, all of the fighters involved, all of the fans. I am confident the people at CBS, everybody would like this. So just say that and do it, because we don't care what you're doing in May. It doesn't matter. And that's on you. You brought the White House card to life. Of course, that's going to suck up all the oxygen in the room. So don't save Poatan for an April pay-per-view that no one gives a shit about. We don't care. Do the thing. You didn't do the thing last year. And I don't care that you didn't book Ilia versus Islam. I'm like one of 5 people that simply did not care about that. But everybody else did. And you didn't book John versus Tom. Just do this super, super easy thing. This is a layup, and he is like rejecting it. I do not get it.
So here's what I thought this meant, okay? Because the UFC has done this before. At least they've tried to do this. They're doing the thing that boxing continues to try to do, where
kick itself in the nards.
Yep. They're trying to do too much in order to make this fight bigger. So I think Pereira fights
Elberg. You make it bigger, you announce it now and promote it for 6 goddamn months.
Pereira's gonna fight. I think Pereira does fight Elberg. And here's a hot take, Jed. I think John does fight at the White House, but it's not against Pereira.
Who?
If Derek Lewis beats Waldo Cortez Acosta, they do that fight.
You are dangerously close to becoming a caricature of your own self.
Listen, I think the UFC is going to try to book John on that White House card and then try to double dip him, try to get 2 out of him. Because if he fights Alex, he's done. Like that'll be it. He won't fight again. But if he fights a guy he probably beats, and Derek's a dangerous fight because he hits hard, but John will probably just tackle him and beat him. John fights on the card, gets a win. Alex fights Olberg, probably wins that fight. That just builds up something else for those 2 guys. Maybe you do it at MSG, make it a big deal. The UFC has tried to do this a bunch. Just like, well, we want to get there, but we want to take a stop along the way to try to build this. So maybe it's not Derek Lewis. Maybe I am trying to just make fetch happen in a lot of regard, but I would not shock me if they just throw John in with rando heavyweight just to fight on the card and then try to get 2 fights this year out of John. That's kind of where I think they might be heading. Or they just are done with John altogether and he doesn't fight at all.
I think Dana is just mad at John, and John's bad at apologizing because John doesn't feel sadness. And frankly, this is one of like the times where I'm like, I don't care if John feels like empathy or remorse. He doesn't need to. He didn't technically do anything wrong. He's kind of crappy about stuff, and it wasn't ideal, but like he was looking out for himself. I think that's on paper, not like he didn't, he didn't do a lot of the other stuff he's done that he should feel remorse for. So him not feeling remorse about this. But when John's like, oh yeah, like I definitely need to have a talk with Dana because I wasn't my best. So like, Dana White is many things. He's not a moron. Like he knows that you aren't sorry. John cannot, he has never, it has always been one of his biggest flaws as a promotional entity, not as a person. That's a separate issue, but that he cannot sell the lie that he tells with his eyes. Like his whole career when he was, I'm just happy to be here and I'm so grateful. Like it always felt not real. And so his pseudo fake ass apologies about like, I should have handled this better. It's like, yeah, Dana wants you to feel remorse. More so, he really just wants to hurt people who annoy him. And this is the best way he can do that. Like, that's my only read of this, because it's silly to say you can't trust John. Like, that's a very silly statement that Dana has made. And he's obviously the biggest guy you could put on this card. So, like, the only logical output to me is Dana is holding a personal grudge. Because I've seen Dana do this. I've seen him do this a lot. It's very much in his character.
Weird situation. I would love to interview Dana. Like, not even real interview. I would love to just like sit in a room with Dana and like, it doesn't need to be a 60 minutes question type of thing, but I just want to know for real how he's feeling about this event. Like, for real. Not like I'm in front of a camera, I'm trying to say the right thing here. The PR Dana, which is, I want to know how he's feeling about this. Because every time he has like a certain vision for this event, Trump comes out and says something ridiculous. Yeah, we're going to have 9 title fights and all this stuff. And, you know, we're going to do this, this, and this. And it's going to be on this date. No, it's going to be on this date. No, it's going to be this. I really want to know what he's thinking right now. Because, I mean, he obviously is the CEO of the company. So he has say in all of this. But it just seems like there's so many chiefs right now. And not, you know what I mean? Like, there's too many people kind of like feeling like they're the ones controlling all of this. I'm curious if this is like, if he's enjoying this process or if he is just like kind of super over it right now and is just kind of like waiting for this to be over.
I mean, it feels like he was super over it immediately, because honestly, my guess is that he didn't see this coming, because they're not the ones who announced it. Remember, Donald Trump is the one who announced this.
Sure did.
This was not a Dana White says we're going. And then Dana quickly was like, yeah, we're going to do that. But like, it would not remotely surprise me to be like, oh, Trump just said something. Like, he just said, we're going to do this. And then Dana found out about that the same time everyone else did when it was on Twitter. And he was like, oh yeah, we're doing that. Sure. And then he realized like, oh, because if there's one thing that Dana White hates more than people who disagree with him, or more than fighters who maybe don't do the best thing for his business, if there's one thing Dana White hates, it's having to try. God, does he hate having to try? It's his least favorite thing in the universe. Do you remember Noche? It got lost in the shuffle.
Noche,
but like the Noche Sphere card, all of the conversation from everybody else was like, ooh, this will be cool. And if we're being honest, like that event was cool in the concept that everything else is the same. It is stamped and printed. And that was at least like different. For being realistic, like that wasn't that cool in the scheme of things. Like, that was a lot of like AI artwork attached around. Like, the sphere is cool, but they didn't do unique and interesting things with the sphere. They just co-opted an existing property that can do cool stuff. But all of the stuff he said in the build up to it, it was never happy. It was like, this is going to be the most expensive thing we've ever done. This is a huge pain in my ass to put together. Like, we're working around the clock. He never was like, man, I'm so excited about this. It was like, we're going to win some awards, and this is taking a lot of time and effort. Because he doesn't want to do that. Like, that's not, and that's what the White House is. It immediately became the focal point of everything. And it is admittedly a huge pain in the ass for them, right? Like, outside of the logistics of it, which has to be a nightmare, certainly, is also just a nightmare because every fighter wants it. And you have to be like, no. But Dana doesn't have those conversations with fighters. What's he care? Like, Dana, that's a Mick Maynard, Hunter, Sean thing for him. This is, he got put into a room he didn't know he was going to be in. And now it's taking up time and energy, and he'd rather be playing blackjack.
I believe his new game is Baccarat now.
Baccarat is a great game. I mean, blackjack's a great game too, but
yeah. Baccarat is it's trending in the right direction. By the way, Jake Paul weighed in at 216.4 pounds for his fight with Anthony Joshua. So still waiting for AJ apparently to hit the scale. So because I think he has to be 245 or less.
I don't know.
Something like that. He did have a weight
historically
limit.
his weight is historically in the 240s. So yeah, and that tracks.
Speaking of weird boxing, which fight will age better, Joshua versus Paul or Mayweather versus Tyson in April 2026? I'll tell you my pick. I'm going to go with Joshua Paul because I think that fight happens. And until
Fair.
how many friggin' fights has Floyd Mayweather announced in the last 2 years that actually happened?
Not a
One?
lot. Yeah.
One maybe? Remember the John Gotti rematch was supposed to get? He has told us he's fighting like 17 different people, and none of them happened.
forgot that he fought John Gotti III, which is an insane thing.
And then
that's
a whole
happened.
brawl
We live
took
in
place.
the wildest timeline.
That was the most ridiculous thing I've ever watched. That was the weirdest event I've ever seen.
It was. Yeah, I think I have to be with you. It's a great point. I was just sort of, if it does happen, it's probably is Mayweather Tyson because, like, again, and I don't want to be I don't want to be the Debbie Downer, and I try not to be in general. And I largely don't think this will be a huge problem, but I do think that the MMA fan base in general vastly overlooks the legitimate dangers of combat sports, and broadly, I mean, like casual fans super overlook it. I think MMA fans overlook it because people don't die in MMA. Like it has happened, but it is exceedingly rare. Like 7 boxers die a year. And they die mostly like it is primarily this is a combat sport. You are taking concussive blows to the head. That just becomes a risk, right? That's baked into the pudding. Largely it does happen because commissions aren't doing their job or they're not involved in the first place. And people who shouldn't be fighting are in there. Like I was genuinely concerned with the Paul Tyson fight that was like on the table. Less so here, but still, like this is a man who is wildly overmatched and could get genuinely hurt in there in a way that is potentially problematic. So that's not going to age well in general, is my thought.
I think it's Chael Anderson 3 if it does happen. It'll just be walking around, light punches.
Yes, that is likely for Mayweather Tyson. That is likely true. I'll also say like Mayweather's probably just, I mean, he's physically capable of hurting Mike Tyson, but like it's not like he's a spring chicken either. Like he's much smaller, just on the level that's a more level fight than what we are going to see tomorrow.
Next question, reverse ship. Good afternoon. 2026, name an unranked prospect that could do what Joshua Van did in 2025 and at least compete for a title.
I mean, that's really tough to ask for in general. I mean, I think you have to assume unranked. I get like, to be honest, or to the spirit of the question, we're not talking like Johnny Eblin comes over to the UFC and is unranked and then thing. Like just like a guy who's legitimately wouldn't be ranked even if he was in the UFC. Who can make the fastest? You got to pick a weight class, right? Because it's over like it's not going to be welterweight basically. Like that's just not in play realistically for welterweight or lightweight. Probably middleweight's out in that regard. Featherweight is possible, but I would say pretty unlikely as well.
Not.
I mean, bantamweight, if you've got a guy who's just on the outside, could maybe, but there's also sort of a logjam of people with a new champion there. So flyweight's like flyweight or light heavy are probably good bets in general. Who's an unranked flyweight right now that might make a run here, Mike?
God. Let me pull up my rankings.
Yeah, that's literally exactly what I'm about to go look at.
Is Charles Johnson ranked in the UFC rankings?
Let me hold on. Yes, he is. Number 13.
Okay.
I like the idea. That would have been a good one.
Alan Nascimento?
No, I believe he has been, but he is not ranked currently.
Because I have Nascimento at 19 right now.
How long is Timarov sussied for?
At least a year, I think.
Oh, that's a shame. I I guess I'll go. I don't believe this will happen. But I do like the fighter. I'll go with Andre Lima, the flyweight.
That's
The guy
that's a
who
pretty good
got
pick.
bit. He's on a good run. He's like right outside of the rankings, which is basically where Van was. And, it just takes a couple of opportune fights. Super talented. I like him as a prospect in general. So I guess Andre Lima seems like a decent effort there.
If heavyweight wasn't in such a weird place, that would be a good one. But we don't know when Tom's going to fight Cyril.
Yeah, heavyweight's a nightmare right now.
Light heavyweight? What about Iwo?
I don't think that's likely, but
I mean, he's on
light heavyweight is another spot though. Zhang is still ranked. I was like, Zhang could maybe make a run there. That's not going to happen. I think I guess the light heavyweight is another contender series guy, Navajo Sterling. He has not really dazzled inside the UFC, frankly. But he is from a good, he's from City Kickboxing. So that gets you a little extra juice for a push. If Carlos Ulberg loses, right? Like if he does get a title fight and loses, then there's nothing standing in the way other than climbing the ranks. So they can put Navajo in. You can make, you can make some quick work up there. That might be a real shot.
Yeah, so it's a real good question. I honestly don't know. The first name that popped into my mind was Jimmy Suss, but he's not going to fight Chimaev. If somehow Imavov wins the belt,
even then,
that's a story. But middleweight's just too packed right now. It's tough,
the middleweight choice, the legitimate middleweight call is Bo Nickel. Like if you're picking one guy from each weight class, Bo Nickel's the guy because they already want to push him. He got back on track. It won't take long, and he has a built-in beef with Chimaev or like some built-in talk there. So Bo Nickel, but again, that's what makes Josh Van's year as incredible as it is that this doesn't happen. It's not a thing. And so you can pick the best guy from each weight class, but I would say Bo Nickel's chance of fighting for the middleweight belt is below 5%, The
only other name I'd throw out, it's kind of a wild card, but again, this division, we don't know where it's going right now. Gable Steveson.
Yeah, if I was picking a heavyweight, that's the heavyweight to pick. Sure. I think that's pretty unlikely. I guess the other one, women's strawweight, if we assume that Zhang is about to get the belt back, which I think is a fair assumption, frankly. Shout out to my girl, the queen of the flyweights right now, Mackenzie Dern. I'm going to assume that Zhang gets the belt back. She's beaten a lot of this weight class already, and it's a lot of the same names. Is Fatima Klein ranked?
Yes, she has to be.
She is ranked. Yeah. Trying to look at who isn't ranked at flyweight. Or not flyweight, strawweight, sorry. Oh, yeah, there's nobody actually that's... So, nope, strawweight's not really viable.
Yeah, that's tough.
Honestly, I'm going to change my answer to Bo Nickel because the UFC wants to push him. His next fight's going to be a ranked guy. If he fights, I think so. I think his next fight will be RoboCop,
Oof.
And then, if Hamzat still has the belt, there's a natural inclination for those two dudes to fight each other. And it's just Bo Nickel. They want to push Bo Nickel. And so that's Bo Nickel would be my pick. I don't think it's going to happen. Like I said, less than 5% that he fights for the belt next year. But if you're making me pick a super off the board dark horse, that's mine.
My other super dark horse, even though I just don't think he's going to get the reps, and I don't know if he gets the push. Yaroslav Amosov. That wouldn't be a bad one. He's not ranked.
The problem is the welterweight has way too much happening, but yeah. I like the spirit of that pick.
Perhaps he steps in at times. Olajuwon taking a shot on Woodley KO plus 800, straight fade on Anderson's age. Personally speaking,
I think that's a bad decision.
I think you're throwing money away. I think Anderson's going to smoke Tyron Woodley.
So we're clear. Tyron Woodley is not some 28-year-old spring chicken. He's 43.
And hasn't fought since getting obliterated by Jake Paul in the worst fight I've ever seen. up until that point. And this guy was not training to fight anybody for a long time. They pulled him like off a movie set to go fight Anderson Silva, who was getting ready and actively preparing to fight somebody, and is still pretty decent. So
I have a better.
I think Anderson wins convincingly.
I have two ways to frame this. First, I would like to just ask you. I have one way to frame it, but I'd like to ask you: do you know the year? The year. I'm not asking for the event, the month, the year of Tyron Woodley's last win in combat sports.
Oh, Jesus. 2017.
18. It is the Darren Till title defense.
That's
the
right.
last time he won.
I forgot about that one.
It's the last time he won a fight. So we're clear. Josh Van was 2 years away from starting his professional career. The last time Tyron Woodley won a professional fight.
Josh Van was like in high school.
Yeah. I mean, he definitely was. He's 24 right now. He was 17.
Yeah. He was getting ready for like his senior year.
We didn't know what COVID was in 2018. What was I doing? In 2018, I was 3 years removed from law school. 2018 was not a year where like much happened in my life that I can recall. It is 20. Also, I'm sorry. I actually lied. Josh Van was 3 years away from starting his professional career. Not 2, 3 years. Tyron Woodley hasn't won a fist fight since the first Donald Trump administration, or were we still on? Trump was 2016, so the first Donald Trump administration. Don't bet on Tyron Woodley. Just don't do that.
The BMF title wasn't even invented yet. That's how far back.
Yeah, it is.
Jorge Masvidal was not even a thing. Ben Askren and Demetrius Johnson hadn't even been traded for each other yet.
Shout out to Luke, Main Car Minute in the chat. He said Jed was basically still a lawyer. I actively was an attorney. Like I was legally capable of like doing work, attorney work. I had not lapsed my bar passage at that point. Like it's so long ago.
Oh man.
I'll be right back. Solo screen.
Okay. Masters. One fight that's really being slept on is Arnold Allen versus John Silva. I feel too many are underrating Arnold again, yet he's incredibly good. It's not like Arnold Allen doesn't have the tools to beat him. Let's bring Jed back. Jed, thoughts on Arnold Allen versus John Silva and the sort of ongoing thought that John's going to go out there and clobber Arnold Allen, who hasn't fought in quite some time.
I love this fight. I don't think he's going to go and clobber Arnold Allen, but I love this fight for a couple of reasons. One, I really like both guys in it. Everybody knows John Silva's my boy. He's been my boy. Arnold Allen has long been my boy. Like I really like Arnold Allen both as a fighter and a like as a person. His personality is charming. It's a shame that his career just never got to be great because he is constantly injured. And whether he's just more prone to injury or he's just less prone to fighting while injured, I don't know. But his career should have been better than what it has been. And it's still been fine. You know, he's been a top 10 guy for a while. But I think this is a perfect match in that this gets Arnold Allen a chance. He's been gone for a long time. If he comes in and he wins, you know, it's against a guy who's got a lot of juice right now. And so he can be right back in the short list to get, you know, one win in a title fight. And this is a great rebound for Jean Silva, a guy who is super well-rounded. Probably not like he's not nearly as dangerous as Diego Lopez, but incredibly well-rounded fighter and a good measuring stick for, hey, has Jean Silva learned any lessons or is he still an asshole? Because I just can't stress this enough. Jean Silva lost to Diego Lopez because he's an asshole. That's it. Like he's obviously a better, whatever that means, fighter than Diego Lopez. But he was just being an arrogant dipshit and got killed for it. Like that's how that fight unfolded. And did this teach him humility? That like, hey, this actually isn't a game and where I'm in a fist fight and maybe I should take this some level of seriously. Because if not, then he'll just lose to Arnold Allen, who's very good at fist fighting. But, if this is that sort of, I comped it at the time, if this is that sort of Justin Gaethje, I learned my limitations on being like a bozo, and now I don't have to turn off the bozo, but I have to be like a little measured with it. Then I think John Silva can win a belt. And if he doesn't, and he comes out and he's still slapping hands and trying to hug Arnold Allen while Arnold's just jabbing him, then okay, well, John Silva might not have the mentality to, be a top fighter.
It's a good fight. Arnold's very tough, very difficult to finish. I just don't know how it's going to be interesting if this fight goes long, which it probably does because Arnold's so damn tough. It's a good one. It's a really good fight.
It is.
Thoughts on Razor Gazim Salmani, formerly of WWE's Authors of Pain, making his BKFC debut at Knucklemania? Yeah, good signing. Good signing. Knucklemania is, we kind of got two. Knucklemania looks hype. Hunt versus Romero is a dope fight. Agree with that. It just seemed a little underwhelming to me, Jed. You know what I mean? Like, you got Mike Pereira on your roster. I feel like he should be a part of this in some way, shape, or form. But, if you don't have Mike, at least you had Eddie Alvarez last year, and that's a very big deal. You had two very well-known commodities fighting in a main event. And, God, I love Yoel Romero, and I know you do too, fighting Lorenzo Hunt, who, yeah, it's fine. And, I mean, I gotta tell you, I'm not all that interested in Rothwell or Arlovsky at this point in Arlovsky's fighting career.
I mean, I'm kind of like vaguely interested in it. Dude, Andre's on a heater right now. Don't dismiss the GOAT.
I mean, look, who's he beating? Come on.
Don't dismiss the GOAT. He's on a heater right now.
He's how good
found his home.
Just
Terrence
how good is Martin
Hodges,
Budai?
Terrence Hodges got cooked up in dirty
sure
boxing.
Did.
Thank
he
you
sure
very
did.
much. And Josh Copeland, you're out of here. You're out of here. I think that was that guy's name. He's on a heater. He is 3-0 since leaving the UFC. Thank you very much.
That press conference was absolutely ridiculous yesterday.
I didn't watch a second of it, and I'm pretty happy I didn't.
It's a good thing you didn't because it was bad.
Honestly, my goal is to never watch BKFC pressers because after the one where the girl who was fighting the women's BMF belt, I don't remember their names, but the one who I can't repeat it because the video was not monetizable if I say what she said. It haunts me. It haunts the words that Christine Fajeda said something to her, and it's the most out of pocket thing I've ever heard on a stage. So it's like, you know what? I think I'm good. I think I'm out on BKFC pressers.
Okay. Mike, how far do you think the Pats go in the playoffs? I think they'll win a game. They're not going to win it. And here's the thing, folks. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, who gives a shit?
I don't care.
This is a free season.
It's a free, like Jake Paul, like literally is like, oh, I got no pressure. This is free money for me. It's house money. And maybe you could say that to some extent, but what the Patriots have done this year is like full on house money. Like them losing to the Bills, like sucked just because of how they lost that game because they were killing them. And then they just fell apart and the defense was awful. And yeah, the referees weren't great either, but they just gave that game away. But like, I wasn't even upset about it. I was just like, dude, we're like in this spot. We have no right to be here. Like we're doing so much better. I was like, if we win 9 games, that is a spectacular season for us. So, I mean, if they could win a playoff game, like this is an immense victory for them. And even just getting to the playoffs is way better than I expected. And most other Patriots fans did. So I really don't care. If they go on a run, great. If not, all good. A couple other shout outs for the unranked to champion. Bia Mosquita. Couple Bia Mosquita shouts. Don't hate that. Your boy Steve Asplund, as long as he doesn't fight any grapplers.
I mean, that's just not a reasonable take. I love Steve. Well, I enjoy Steve. I wouldn't say I love him. No.
Is Pico ranked? Is a question.
Pico's definitely not ranked.
No, he's not.
I was trying to find the clip. I'm going to throw the clip into chat so you guys can see what I was talking about for BKFC since I can't say it.
Yes.
That shit was too much. I think it's literally the only thing I've ever clipped and put as like a post anywhere because it's like the world needs to know that this happened.
What about Atiba Gauthier?
No, but he can certainly be ranked. He's just not going to get that sort of a push at middleweight, even if he's nuking people. But like, yeah, mostly what you're naming are just like good candidates for breakout fighter of 2026.
Yeah. Gauthier was a great breakout fighter. He didn't make because by the way, breaking news, we are bringing breakout or breakthrough fighter of the year back. No more rookie of the year. We're going breakthrough male, breakthrough female.
My list of things to do today is get my votes in.
Yes. A lot of people want Josh Van versus Manel Kape in Houston. I love that. Here's a take. No one can pull off what Josh Van did. He's special. I'll tell you who pulled it off. Sean Strickland pulled it off. Went from unranked to champion.
Was he unranked?
He was.
Oh.
He began the year, I'm pretty sure he was unranked, wasn't he?
I don't know.
He had lost multiple fights in a row.
I kind of would have thought he's still ranked, but yeah, I mean, like, again, Josh Van is special. I don't know how special because again, winning the way he won the belt, it was a fluke. Maybe he would have won it anyway. We'll never know. But it's still like what he achieved, and even how he achieved it is a fluke. Like Josh Van it's not just that you are special. Like you have to be talented and good. You have to be insanely lucky too. Josh Van in June was the number 12 ranked flyweight. But because Manel Kape pulled out of a fight with Brandon Royval, and Josh Van said yes, he got an opportunity to fight the number 1 dude. And then he won. And that fight was competitive and great. But like that fight was very close. There were a lot of good breaks for him as well to get there. And so it is a perfect storm to have that sort of year. He's not going to be my fighter of the year. I think he's in my top 5. He's in my top 5. I'm fairly certain.
He's in my top 5 as well.
And so, yeah, like it's not just about being special. It's about being insanely lucky too, because it takes luck.
Absolutely. A couple super chats. Frank Lampard. Did Dana really say, "Get your freaking hands off me"? I assume this is the Francis.
Probably.
Thing. I bet he did.
I suspect Dana said that.
I don't think they were in the room alone either. It doesn't seem like Dana's,
Yeah, I don't know why they would be in the room alone.
Yeah. So, yeah, I would say he said that.
The whole thing felt like that was probably what happened in the first time, and then Dana came out and acknowledged, like, he didn't really touch me. He just touched me. But there's some truth that like it's not necessarily fair or whatever, but like you're Francis Ngannou, you're the most dangerous man on earth. Your actions are interpreted in the context of who you are as a person. Like if Mackenzie Dern shoves Dana, that's less threatening than you being like, hey man, don't. You can try and make it as non-threatening of a thing, but if you are physically touching another person when you are 6'4", 260 and the baddest man on the planet, there's an inherent level of threat there that is not there. If I were to be like, Dana, stop. These just aren't equivalent things. And so the answer, keep your hands to yourself. But he wasn't actually threatening physical violence to him in like a real way.
Yeah. Lazy Trish Stratus is 50. I feel old. Remember TNA. Yes. Test and Albert, with Trish as the manager. That was our introduction to her.
Well, that's classy.
Yep. That was the Attitude Era, Jed. That was when there were no bets barred, so to speak. They were doing some weird shit.
Ass out the ass.
It wasn't PG WWE back then. That's for sure. Let's see. Mysterious MRJ. Which fighter came into 2025 with a ton of hype and hasn't lived up to it at all?
Ooh. You know what I'm going to do, Mike? I'm going to look at our who will be champions by the end of 2025 list. I did uniquely poorly, which I am the only person to correctly predict Islam as a welterweight champion, but it was one of 2 of the 11 champs I got right. Though in my defense, I just thought they'd let Islam hold the lightweight belt, and they didn't, because otherwise I would have at least gotten 3. Who failed to live up to the hype this year? So mathematically, the correct answer is Shavkat Rakhmonov, because 5 of our 7 staff picked him to be welterweight champion by the end of the year. Not really his fault. He got hurt, but he didn't compete, and a clear majority thought he would be champion. Lightweight is you picked Armin. That failed, but you did pick him. Evloev won. No. So I don't think this is true necessarily, but honestly, as I'm looking through, and the name that immediately jumped out at me is Umar, because many people just anticipated he'd win the belt, and so he didn't. He then rebounded with a quality win, but even that win was like, it wasn't the runaway train that people thought. And so I think of all the fighters, he has probably lost. It's either him or Tom have lost the most juice this year.
Ooh, Tom's a good one.
I mean, and again,
it's not his
really
fault.
Tom's fault, but like he lost a lot of juice because
he
of
did.
that fight. So,
I mean, you could probably say Francis too, in a lot of regards, by the court of public opinion.
I mean, he's been steadily tanking his stock for 4 years. So he's fought once in 4 years. That's just, he's done something else. Oh, Michael Parisio has the right answer. It's Patchy.
Oh, great call.
That's great. That's. I don't know that there was actually like a huge amount of hype.
It depends on who you ask.
But he fell the most, certainly.
Yeah. Patchy losing 2 fights was not surprising to me. I was never on the Patchy Mix is the best bantamweight in the world train ever. I didn't expect it to be this bad. But
yeah, it's pretty bad.
That's a great shout, man.
Patchy's a good one. But yeah, like most of I'm trying to think of dudes with hype who, if you're considering people with hype who disappointed, I think Umar and Tom are the answers, because there was a ton of hype behind them both, and Tom had what happened, and Umar lost and then underwhelmed.
Yeah,
people are rapidly leaving the Umar bandwagon.
I mean, he did beat Mario in a fun fight.
I still think he's very good. I would will pick him probably this year to be my champ at the end of the year thing, but people got turned off pretty quickly on that one.
Yeah. I mean, this Jan winning worked out great for him to some extent, because I just don't think his skill set could beat Merab. I would probably pick Jan to beat him, honestly. But
Jan looked incredible. It's hard to pick against a guy who looked that good.
But here's the thing, man. It doesn't matter what Umar does January 24th. It does not matter unless Sean O'Malley loses to Song Yadong.
I mean, it doesn't matter anyway. He's he's behind Merab for a 3-match too, so he's out of pocket for a hot minute.
Yeah.
Ooh.
What?
Tatiana Suarez.
Oh.
I really thought she had a chance to beat Zhang, and then she lost and then had the worst fight of the year. I changed my answer. Tatiana Suarez is actually the correct answer.
Boy, that couple.
Big Onk doesn't count, Ben, because Big Onk did win the belt. So he objectively did something good. He ended poorly, but he won the title. So he's not in the mix. Tatiana, I think it's Tatiana. Honest to God, I think that's the right answer.
It's a good pick. It's a good shout.
How many of us were picking Tatiana to be the champ? Let me look that up.
Not I.
I know that I don't think it was actually like, I think more people were on Zhang, but there were those of us in the Tatiana. I lied. It was 5-2 on Tatiana versus Zhang from our staff. So yeah, Tatiana is the correct answer.
Yes. Nobody got it right.
She lost badly and then had the worst fight of 2025.
Yes. Bouchon, who do you think will be stripped first? Ilia, who won't fight due to personal reasons, or Tom, who can't due to eye injury? So I don't know if it's going to be like quote unquote, I don't think either will be like quote unquote stripped. I mean, it could happen. Like if the Ilia thing turns out really bad, maybe. But the UFC also likes to do and they did it with Yuri, where there's like, hey man, why don't you go ahead and like not be champion anymore, but we'll spin it in a way that makes you look like a warrior.
I think Tom won't do that. I don't think Tom will vacate his title. I also don't think they'll strip him because, and this is perhaps very naive, frankly, but they already showed that they were willing to have Tom be the interim champ for 2 full years functionally. So they can just make an interim heavyweight belt and not care. And it would be, I don't know, classless isn't the right word. Gauche, maybe. It would be a bad look to strip Tom for an eye injury while letting him flounder as the interim champ for 500 days because John wanted to fight the old guy. So I think that they just won't strip Tom. And I don't for a second. If I'm Tom, I'm not. If they come to me like, hey, vacate, I'm like, no. You can take it from me. That's your prerogative. But I'm not doing that. Dana threw me under the bus, and you guys made me sit for 2 years with a promise to never fuck you. I'm not doing that. So I think Ilia won't get stripped, but I do think there's a very real Ilia vacates because of personal thing.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're stripping Tom.
That'd be that'd be quite a move.
It would be such bad optics, like, and they don't care because they have a dominance over the sport, but like, it's really bad optics to let John sit out for a year and then fight Stipe, but then Tom is out for 6 months, 8 months, and for an eye poke that he suffered in a fight, and be like, sorry, buddy, you got to give it up. We need Cyril Gane versus Derek Lewis for the title. That would be the worst optics.
Duke Bad Duck, why is Ortega getting a ranked opponent?
Who's he getting?
It looks like he's going to fight Renato Moicano in March in a move
Oh,
up to a
like
rematch.
him?
Yeah, and it's not like Moicano is highly ranked.
I mean, he's top 10, but
he is really
in the UFC's ranking, he's top 10.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, it makes sense based on how they do it. He was on a good run, and then he lost to the former champ, so you don't really get knocked for that. And then they just moved BSD in front of him. He dropped like 1 spot, I think. But also Dustin left, so he stayed neutral.
Yeah. I mean, it's a fine fight. It doesn't disrupt anything really. Moicano's not a title threat at the moment. Neither is Ortega. They fought before, so there's a story there.
Because Brian Ortega is popular in general, and he's a person that they can go to Mexico with. And if he manages to beat Renato Moicano, then they can sacrifice him to somebody who's good at lightweight, because he doesn't have a like legitimate lightweight run going on in him. Yeah, I mean, like, again, merit doesn't exist, but it's fine. I have no issues with that booking.
Breaking news: 243.4 pounds for
34 pounds on him.
Yep. According to our boots in the ground, Jose Young's in the room during the official weigh-ins. Shout out to Jose, doing me a solid. I would have went and covered that event if it was last week, but this week, too much going on, and just would not have worked. But would have been interesting to be there. Kelsey, did Francis turn down the Paul offer because he was legit worried about losing? Would have destroyed any career moves moving forward.
No.
I think
he turned it down because he's stupid.
It was not a smart move.
I think he turned it down because he's stupid.
Yeah,
There's no good logical reason to turn that fight down. Or they lowballed him, which I guess is also possible. But like if that was the case, I feel like he would have just come out and said it. I think he sniffed his own farts, and he thinks that he's like meaningful and good, and thought that he is above that, and he's not. You can't eat legacy or whatever. Like he should have taken it.
Chad, you'll like this. Crispy Judice will skyrocket in 2026 and be booked to fight for the title in the first quarter of 2027. What a take.
I don't think that's happening. But I think she's got a good chance to be breakout fighter next year. Like she's in the mix because flyweight needs somebody who's dope, and that woman is a ball of knives. So
yeah,
she is my great hope for flyweight.
We'll see. I will tell you, she will be on my list for breakout fighter this year.
She's in the mix. There's honestly like a lot of, there are like a couple of very clear candidates, and then just a whole pile of people after like the top 3 that are valid. So I don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, it's a tough one because like you can consider breakout or breakthrough. What's that?
All the awards this year, as I've looked, are pretty tough.
Yeah. Yep.
I think I know my breakout. I know my breakout, and I told it to AK, and he was stunned.
Oh, okay.
Because he was not on AK's initial list, and I was like, "You left somebody off. This is, I believe, the actual valid answer." So, I think Josh Van is going to win it and should. I think that that's fair, but if you remove him, I think there's one other person who's like my clear number 2.
I did not vote for Josh Van number 1.
Interesting.
Great year. But like, I don't know. It's just.
He's going to finish in the top 5 in fighter of the year, and he's not the breakout fighter of the year.
I mean, Kevin Holland was top 5 in fighter of the year, and he didn't win breakout fighter of the year either because Hamzat did.
Yeah, I don't. That's
see, like to me, breakout is like, okay, how did people view him at the start of the year? And
good prospect.
As a very good prospect, as a guy who we said on every show, this guy is going to fight for a belt someday. Now, did we predict he would fight for the belt in 2025? No. But we knew, fans knew him and were like, this guy's the goods, and he's going to fight for a belt. My pick is a guy who people did not like, and now people love, and he had the year to... And now, and he had the year.
So you just picked Waldo Cortez Acosta?
You're damn right. You're damn right. That's it. He's the breakout fighter of the year for me.
For a moment, I thought we were going to be on the same page. I think my number 2 is, and I believe that this is, I think that this is a much better argument even than Waldo Cortez Acosta.
I'm so excited for this.
Is Ayman Zahabi.
Ooh.
Zaman Zahabi's not good. He's never been good. Nobody's ever looked at him and been like, that guy's gonna fight for a belt, or that guy, like, that's the whole thing. Is Zaman Zahabi's just kind of been like a whatever. And then this year he won 2 incredibly significant fights and is now a top 8 bantamweight. He's a top 8 fighter in like one of the 3 best divisions in the sport.
It's a good pick.
I told that, and AK was like, you hate him. And I was like, I don't hate him. I don't have any personal feelings towards him. He's just not good. But like, you have to respect what he did.
It's crazy. Love the Herb Dean appearances on shows. Lazy Bed says that he appeared on Dominic Cruz's podcast this week and seemingly said it's not the fighters poking eyes, but their opponents pushing their eyes into fingers. Thoughts? Not making this up. Laugh emoji.
I haven't heard it. I can't believe someone would say that. So
I can. Though
I believe that Lazy Bed is an honest and trustworthy source, I cannot physically believe that someone would be stupid enough to say that. So I didn't even read, like, we wrote something up and I didn't read about Herb saying why you can't take automatic points. And
I'm going to pull up right now to see if this
I was
quote
just
is
like, I
there.
bet that's stupid.
Okay, so I have my hand on your head controlling your head. Perfectly fine, but of course you don't like that. You don't want your head controlled and you start moving your head around wildly and all of a sudden you get your eye on a finger. You actually put your eye on a finger because, yeah, you're doing the right thing, but the way you chose to do it, you didn't choose to back off. You started rolling your head and somehow a finger got near your eye. What I'm saying is that's why we can't make things automatic. That's why there has to be discretion, because I know you don't think that makes sense.
That's really stupid. I don't know what else to say. So like, there's a kernel of truth to that, right? Like, and I am open to the idea that, like, yes, actually points shouldn't be automatic because, like, broadly speaking, I do agree. Like, there are The reason you take points in fights, or are supposed to, they don't do it. When you're supposed to do it is to level the playing field. And an advantage has been granted, and the sport does not have a way to equalize. Like, that's what penalties are for in every sport. Every foul that occurs is in every sport in history is accompanied by some level of punishment to make up the lost ground. And it's an inexact art and science, but you're just doing the best you can, right? And in MMA, there's no way to do that, which is why I've also said, like, I'd be open to fouls instead of being an automatic point deduction or an automatic concession of position. So, oh, you grab the fence. All right, well, we're giving the takedown and we're restarting the fight with fighter A and fighter B's guard or whatever. But like you're trying to make the offended party whole with point deductions. Not every a point is a significant blow in an MMA fight, right? Like I'm not an idiot. I recognize that. To lose a point is a pretty big loss. And so not all eye pokes are created equal. You know, there's what happened to Tom, their double eye gouge, you know, freaking Three Stooges styles. And there's like glancing blows. All that being said, Mike, the reason I have lobbied aggressively for automatic point deductions is not that Herb Dean is wrong. It's that Herb Dean's incompetent, and he is proven to be incompetent. And I would tell this right to his face. I will happily debate you on this topic. Herb, you are absolutely correct that there should be discretion. But in the last 10 years, you have used that discretion to never deduct points. You are never doing it. So when in actuality, when in the efficacy of these rules that you are suggesting, you then don't do it, you have given up. You have totally surrendered the argument that we should be able to decide, because you have blanketly decided never to take the fucking point. So screw you. I would rather us live in a world where people are over penalized than not ever penalized at all, because it makes you feel bad to take a point because you're a pansy. Like, do your job, and then we can talk about you having discretion. But you are refusing to do your job, and so you don't get the privilege of discretion. That's how this works, because truly, on principle, he is correct. But in performance, he has proven, like, there is a long track record of him not doing shit that proves he can't be trusted with that discretion. So I'll grant him this. Herb, I'm actually totally on board with you. We can give refs discretion. You can't ever ref again, and we have to get real refs in there. But as long as you're reffing, you don't get discretion because you haven't earned that shit.
Yeah.
That's like, it's just not hard to do this stuff, man, because like he's right. Also, that example, though, is very stupid because that example is never the case. Like, yes, like that's we created an absurdist piece to argue the counterpoint where it's like, no, 99.76% of eye pokes are a fighter doing this and stabbing a dude in the eye, and you don't do shit about it. So F off with your discretion. Earn it.
Bam. When your biggest thing is, hey, we had this big rules meeting, and now we're just going to enforce the rule we've already had in place. Now we're really going to do it this time.
Yeah, it's just like...
so ridiculous. At least he did it.
He did.
At least he actually did it last week.
And if the point is that you're going to start using the discretion that is afforded to you, then good. You're going to start doing your job. We won't have to have these conversations. But the reason people are it is a condemnation of you, Herbert Dean, that we are talking about these things because you are so bad at your job. We have to try and find a way to make this work, because the way that is on paper is not working. And on paper, you're saying that the way is good, but we all acknowledge that it is in actuality bad. The missing link there is that you're bad. You personally, as a referee, are bad. So get better, or we will change the rules.
Star Wars stuff, super chat. What performance surpassed Jan's all time? Garbrandt with a question mark.
I mean, that's obviously right up there. Volkmax 3 is right on the short list for best performances I've ever seen in a cage. I think both of Aldo's wins over Frankie Edgar were astonishingly perfect.
Valentina Andrade was really good.
It is also hard when you talk about this because like the truth of the matter is like it's a narrow window because we're talking about like dominance for an extended period of time, because usually dominance is just like, oh, I actually just killed that dude, like, so that's equally as impressive, but just in a different way of like, well, Francis almost decapitated Alistair Overeem. So, it has to be a specific kind of fighter because guys like Francis, they're not going to have 25-minute ass beatings. They're going to kill a dude. And so it is a little narrow of a window, but like, I mean, the Jan thing, it's the performance of the year for sure.
Don't make me do my job. An actual quote from Dan Mergliotta.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
In 2025.
It's not a great quote.
What a horrific year that man had.
Ooh, Scott McCrate correctly points out, like, Conor versus Eddie. That was literally a perfect performance.
Yep, that's a good one.
There are always ones, but it does feel more impressive when it's a huge underdog against a long-standing champion. Not long-standing, but, I've been a champ for a year and had multiple title defenses and was widely considered to be one of the best fighters in the world and had already kicked his ass once. Like, it was an exceptional performance from Petr Yan.
Silva beating Franklin, another epic performance.
Oh, dude, that's not even the right one, sir. I mean, yeah, that performance is great, but like, it's Silva Forrest, baby.
Oh yeah, and Lieben too.
I mean the
that was
one,
unbelievable.
Yeah, but the degree of difficulty in the Lieben one is just less high. Like, Forrest was a former light heavyweight champ.
That's true.
And he got beat so bad that Forrest Griffin, ran out of the cage crying and then like wrote about it years later it took him, like, he broke him mentally for like a while and Forrest had to come to grips with what happened. That is, honestly, that might be the best performance I've ever seen. Anderson over Forrest.
Fluffy over Delidze was a damn good one too.
It was incredibly impressive.
I mean, that was, if Jan didn't beat Merab in the way he did, Hernandez had the performance of the year. Up until
yeah, that is definitely up there. I mean, look, I would give Brendan Allen RDR. That's a really great performance too from Brendan Allen.
Yeah,
there were some good ones, but no, Jan had performance of the year for sure this year.
Modern UFC had never produced draws in back-to-back events until 22. It has now happened 4 times. Are draws something we need to accept if we want accurate and fair officiating / judging?
Yep. One of my hottest takes in the sport, and I've had this take forever, is I think we should have 10-10 rounds much more frequently. I don't think draws are bad. I think people hate draws, and I'm not saying we should be Shudo. Shudo has like 1 million draws, and arguably they're more correct. But like that doesn't go down as well. But I think the way the rules are written, 10-10 rounds are functionally not possible. And so every draw is basically a point deduction. I would like there to be more 10-10 rounds, and I would like there to be many more point deductions. And so by definition, you're going to get more draws that way. And I think that's okay. Like, this is a stupid way to view it, I think. Maybe it's not, but I acknowledge, if people think this is dumb, I totally get that, like, you thinking that way. I often revert to like, okay, this is a simulation of a fight. And like, sometimes fights are even, like if you're on a schoolyard and 2 dudes are fighting, sometimes nobody won the fight and they both just had a good fight or they had a bad fight. But like, at a very baseline, when I'm trying to like filter through some of my thoughts about stuff in the sport, I go back to like, what is the best way for this to be a true reflection of fighting in life? And yeah, sometimes fights are just even, and that's okay.
Shout out to Satya Sale. Shout out to the Twitch viewers.
Twitch. I didn't realize we were on Twitch.
Yeah, we're trying to make fetch happen on Twitch. So I think this is honestly the first comment we've ever gotten on Twitch.
I definitely commented last time we were on Twitch because I wanted to comment.
Oh, okay. I'm go find is this us. You? Is this your?
No. I didn't realize we were on, but I see us now. About to be on.
Yes, and now I can't hear you because you're looking on Twitch.
I'm good.
Okay. Is a Jake win possible, Jed? It comes from the Twitch universe.
You're doing one, Satya Seli. You're doing great English. You're way better English than whatever your native language is. Is a Jake win possible? No, it is not possible. I mean, it is in. I don't know if I already said this on the show or not. It can't happen in an honor, like in a fair fight. The only way Jake wins tomorrow is if the fight is fixed. And I do believe fights get fixed in boxing. It is extremely rare for high profile fights to get fixed because fixing fights is super illegal. There are real consequences that go along with it, and the juice isn't worth the squeeze. And the more eyeballs you have on something, the harder it is to do something like that. And so high profile fights have been fixed in the history of boxing. It's extremely rare. I don't think tomorrow will be fixed, but I will straight up outside of freak injury. So like Anthony Joshua steps through the ropes and then has a heart attack. Knock on wood. We don't want that to happen. He's 37. I don't think it will, but knock on wood. Or a straight up fight fix. Jake Paul cannot win tomorrow.
By the way, our friends at FanDuel, Jed, I don't know if you saw this. Anthony Joshua down to a minus 900 favorite on FanDuel.
Yep, saw that at FanDuel. I've got minus 800 at one of my books that I am trying to get to. I think DraftKings had him much higher. But yeah, Anthony Joshua should be a minus 10,000 favorite, and that's just like the highest they do the number to. He can't win a legitimate contest tomorrow, or not. Jake Paul can't win a legitimate contest tomorrow. Can't be done. I was trying to put this in terms for my non-fighting friends, and I was like, I tried to use it because I don't like team sports is weirder because there are more variables in team sports, right? Like just, the punter could be bad or whatever, and that might screw up the whole football team or whatever. It was like trying to do it in individual sports. It was like, okay, if Jake Paul wins, it would be like if a moderately successful high school tennis player beat not like the top two tennis, but like Fritz, like the American dude Fritz, who's like number 6 in the world or whatever. That's what this would be like, except for if Fritz also was 3 inches taller and 30 pounds heavier than the high schooler. Like it can't happen. Can't happen.
Jed, the current over-under is 2.5 rounds, minus 145 for over, under 2.5, plus 110. Over under 2.5 rounds tomorrow, Jed.
I'm going to take the under, but that is, I think that's a valid line.
I think it's spot on.
I think there's a legitimate question about how engaged will Jake be? Is he going to try and fight, or is he simply going to run? And how much does Joshua want to hurt him? Because Joshua, to his credit, has said all the correct things about like, I'm here to fight this dude. I'm going to fight him because that's how I fight. Would it stun me if he very quickly is like, this would be like hitting a child. And like, I don't need to, like there are those guys who you play pickup basketball and, somebody brings their 12-year-old son and they dunk on them and they pack shots and they're dancing because that they can shut down a 12-year-old. But I think most people in a game of pickup where somebody's kid is involved, they'd be like, let's pass it to him. Let's let him feel involved without making him feel bad. And so I think Anthony Joshua can absolutely get in the ring tomorrow and be like, I don't need to physically like break this man. And so I think the over is very possible here in that regard. But like if AJ wants to hurt him. He is going to finish him very, very quickly.
Chef Nerdbon, I think it's our guy Terence. No one is beating DJ defenses. Tape study is too good now. Look at Jan. I think without Jan team and losing his ego, that fight looks the same. What fighter ego stops them from being great?
Potentially John Silva.
Yeah, that's a good shout.
We don't know. Also, I'd like to clarify this. Anderson also has 11 title defenses. They just don't count one because Travis Lutter missed weight, but they still fought. Anderson still beat him, and that's a title defense. Like he could, it's a title defense. So they both have 11. But I do think it's unlikely in general that anyone beats that number because both it's insane. Like it's an absolutely insane accomplishment to have. And the, fighters don't really want to do that anymore. So I think that's also a blocker. But yeah, like the sport is better. People are better. The floor of talent is better. And so that it will always make it hard. I won't say never, but it would not shock me if whenever my time to depart this earth goes, that's still the magic number.
I'll take a couple more, then we'll get on out of here. Joseph, Jillian told her co-host of the Fight Bananas podcast, David Van Auken and Elle Dawson, that doctors pulled Amanda due to a cold sore. I mean, we saw the video, so we know there was something there. She wasn't given her at least show money. Thoughts on that?
It's terrible.
It's terrible. I don't know why anybody would be surprised by this, especially, the UFC stance on this. Well, we just rebooked you. And they did. They rebooked the fight, but it's not till March. So kind of shitty if like your Christmas was relying on this fight. It's kind of a bummer, but I'm not surprised.
Win show money shouldn't be a thing. We've talked about that plenty. If you show up to fight week, you should get your paycheck. I think that's like, they would never do it because that's not the point of the Ali revival nonsense act, but like that would at least be a selling point. Like, oh, we're actually going to mandate it that the money that's in escrow, because the money is already there. Like they have the money. It is set aside already for the fight. You can just give that money and nothing will change. But they don't because whatever. But yeah, I think every fighter that makes it to fight week should get their paycheck. And, I don't care if they miss weight. Okay. Then you cannot book them again. You can release them because they showed up to fight week. They should get their paycheck. That has always been my stance.
Sleeto, any talk about karate combat fighters and Adam Kovac coming out about not being paid? I have seen a bunch of this. Emiliano Sordi.
Yeah. Yep.
Just came out and said something. I know Luis Pena has come out and said he still hasn't been paid for his appearance. A lot of that is coming out. Should probably dig into it a little bit more. Maybe that's what I'll do at some point today. Yeah, it sucks, man. And God, man, it's been a horrific PR year for Karate Combat because they were at a point where we're talking about like chucking them in our draft is like a promotion to use because they were like red hot for a hot second, but they have it's been a rocket ship nosedive for them this year. And I'm not even talking about the not paying fighters thing because that sucks ass if it ends up being for real. I don't think we've heard from anybody from Karate Combat come out and say anything. So hopefully they break that silence, so to speak. I know how much people love breaking the silence, but yeah, pretty shitty, man. And not to mention their last card, which ended up being like a fine watch, but it didn't start until like 5.5 hours after it was supposed to start. Just has not been a good year for Karate Combat, Jed. Your thoughts on all of this?
Yeah, it's been a pretty bad year. I mean, outside of all of the stuff that you mentioned, you remember when like 3 weeks ago they ran an event 7 hours after they said they were going to run an event?
Sure do, Jed.
I remember. Pepperidge Farm.
I was just gonna say the same thing.
I remember talking about that and be like, oh, this is the end of the promotion. That's it. The promotion's over. Because like you just need one huge mistake to suddenly collapse. And then they went on. But if you, I don't remember if we were on air or not. So I apologize if I'm rehashing this. The thing you need more than literally the most important thing you need to host an event is the pit or the cage ring. You have to have medical team there because you are legally required to do so. But you can still have two dudes fight each other and put a camera on it, even if there's not a ringside dock. What you've done is legal and you will be fined or go to jail, but it can be done. To put on fights, you must have a place for them to fight and a video camera and two combatants. Like those are 4 absolute necessities. And they somehow just didn't have the pit. We didn't have it. And like, that wasn't the first thing you checked for. And like, we didn't get it. And like, you just have to have it. And to not have it is really a condemnation of you as a promotional entity. And then, you're not paying fighters and all of it's a total disaster. There aren't many worse things you could do this year than they've done. But we'll see if they can right the ship and hopefully pay people, because I hope that they are paying people. If they're not paying people, then I don't want to cover them anymore.
Yes. LazyBed said Luis Pena has said that he has gotten paid. That's good.
Good
for him. Hopefully everybody else gets paid. I don't know
why. Yeah, I hope everybody gets paid, and there's some, issue with Sortie that happened, and this is an aberration. But yeah, it is. Pay your fighters because this is not hard. Pay them. That's the job.
Yeah. Their events are fine. Like they're fine. Apparently covering them live is not fun. At least they've come a long way from that. It appears, but yeah, luckily that card just went by super quickly. The last one,
their pacing has largely been good, which I'll give them that. I'll tell you what, that ACBJJ, I had to watch that yesterday for coverage, and I have some issues with it, but it's not bad. The aesthetics are great. Their venue was quite good, and their pacing was lights out. They were running people through that thing. They had like 30 matches, which was too many, but I was pretty impressed by ACBJJ's like overall promotional chutzpah.
All right, we'll end with this. Oh, thank you, Sethi. Where is it? I had it and then it went too quick. Mike and Jed, name 3 fighters who you think who will retire in 2026.
Ooh. Does John Jones count? I guess John Jones. I guess he counts because he's technically unretired, even if he never fights again. I think he's retiring next year. So John Jones. Henry's already retired. I will say
Kayla Harrison.
I don't think so.
She's got 1 fight left, maybe 2.
She got like a couple.
Because if she loses to Nunes, she's gonna fight Amanda again, and then that's gonna be it. Maybe they do a 3rd one, but like the Shevchenko fight goes away.
Yeah, but she's gonna hang around under the idea that maybe something can happen. I don't think she's gonna be in a rush to lay down the gloves.
Right, but it doesn't seem like Ronda's coming back. Like that would be worth sticking around for because she'd just slaughter Ronda. But
let's make that happen.
But like, other than that,
Volk's retiring this year. I would bet a goodly sum that next year that at most we have 2 Volk fights. He has laid out an ambitious plan to defend the belt against Diego, defend the belt one more time against somebody, and then try and go fight for the lightweight title, which, honestly, like that's a good plan as far as the end of your career goes. But I think Volk is done next year.
I
think there's a really good chance he's done in February.
Some people said in the chat, Justin Gaethje was the next name.
Gaethje has outright said it, so that's fine.
Yeah,
He's almost as cheating.
Yeah, he's
I'm going to either retire if I lose to Patty, or I'm going to beat Patty and fight Ilia. And in his first camp video, he like left the door open that if he beats Ilia, he might stick around. But even like that was even in the most like way. Like, it was very obvious that he is going to retire next year. He's got 1, maybe 2 fights, depending on how the Patty fight goes.
I'm gonna throw a few names out, and you say yes or no.
Okay.
Alex Pereira.
No.
Kamaru Usman.
Yes.
Islam Makhachev.
Yes.
Ilia Topuria.
No.
John Jones. Well, you said John Jones, so.
Yeah. Ilia may retire and the Conor retire, where he retires for a time. But Ilia will fight again after next year.
Michael Chandler.
No. They're going to have to drag his ass out of the cage, I'm pretty sure.
But if he fights, if he has the Conor fight, will he retire?
No, he'll still just want to keep fighting. See you at the top. Walk on.
Valentina Shevchenko.
No. I also think that she should. I think she should retire. I don't think she'll ever do it.
Zhang Weili.
Yeah, let's say yeah.
Brandon Moreno.
That feels surprising, but yeah, maybe.
Brandon Moreno.
No.
No for Brandon Moreno. Alexander Pantoja.
No.
I don't know, man. I hope not. No. I'd love to see him fight some more.
I think he likes it too much.
Yeah, I think he wants to be done sooner. Like, I don't think he's going to fight for like another several years. I don't know. We'll see. At the end, finding out what's actually wrong with his arm, shoulder, elbow, whatever the fuck it is, that is going to be incredibly helpful to this decision. But like, if he comes back and loses again, I don't know, man.
Figgy? You think Figgy might? Figgy's pretty old, man. He comes out here,
25 anymore.
I know, but if he loses again, he's well out of the mix. I don't know. I'm 50-50 on Figgy.
It's not a bad one. Leon Edwards.
I'm looking at the top.
I mean, Chris
Cyborg. Leon's gone.
I say no for Leon.
Ooh,
I say no for Leon because, dude, UFC's just got to say they're done with him, and he's just going to go to PFL, and they're going to pay him a whole bunch of money to fight.
Maybe. Yeah, fair point.
Wonder Boy.
Yes.
I'm gonna say no on Wonder Boy because he doesn't.
I could be convinced.
Yeah, he doesn't need to fight. He just does it for fun. And like, you know, he's at this point, I think he's pretty realistic though. He's not fighting for the belt. So yeah, Gilbert Burns.
He really should. I'll say yes, but that might be wishful thinking.
I see Colby Covington's name coming up a bunch. There's no way he officially announces his retirement.
The thing is, he just will never officially announce his retirement. So, also, I am plumb shocked that he has not been banging the White House drum more. It feels like that would be a thing that Colby would just be out every week being like, I'll fight anybody at the White House. I cannot be defeated in the shadow of President Donald J. Trump as I am his greatest warrior.
I mean, he has been, but he's just not doing a lot of media.
I don't. It shocks me that he doesn't have a new video every other week about fighting at the White House.
Did I say Charles Oliveira?
You did not. I'll say no. I think he just loves fighting too much. He's going to get retired by the sport, is my guess.
I'm trying to think if there's anybody else. Does Francis Ngannou retire from MMA?
That's a really good one. Yeah, probably. I don't know if maybe he won't say it. I think that we have one Francis Ngannou fight left in MMA. The contractual obligation that he will, I assume, fulfill in the spring of next year for PFL. And then I wouldn't bet my life on it, but I wouldn't even bet a lot of money. But I think it's more likely than not that he is retired that he has one MMA fight left in his career.
I'm not counting Chris Cyborg because she said she has one.
She has said it, so yes.
Yeah. Oh, interesting one. Cody Garbrandt.
That's a very good one.
That might be the best one.
Yes, but he comes back. Cody Garbrandt screams to me a guy who will retire and then return a year later.
Beneil Dariush. It's a terrific game, by the way. I really. It
was a really great game. No on Benny, but no confidence in that.
Edson Barboza.
Yes.
Dominic Reyes.
Oh, that's a sad one. That made me sad. Dominic Reyes was just because he just got back on the winning column, but
he should be fighting. And he should be fighting Ryder de Ritter next.
I don't care for this Kaio fight.
It's a terrible fight for him. He's gonna lose that one too.
He's probably gonna lose. But the fight's like fun, but it's just like, buddy, obviously nobody showed him my clips. Somebody show him. He's supposed to be fighting Dominic Reyes. Is one of my best calls of 2025, frankly.
I love that call so
It's
bad.
One of the best ideas I had all year.
Eric Anders, I'm not counting because he's kind of said that once his contract's done, he's probably done.
You could have told me he had already retired, and I would have believed you.
Jan Blachowicz.
Again, I don't think he'll ever leave. I think he just wants to keep fighting, so no. He should. He's 42. He's never fighting for the belt again. He can still win fights, but do something else, man. I don't know. But Jan Blachowicz is honestly a perfect fighter because he's exactly who I've always thought. If I was a professional athlete, I would be. Would be like if I was a professional athlete of any kind in any sport, I would never retire. If I was a pro tennis player, why would I ever retire? Okay, I'm Roger Federer. I'm not winning majors anymore. Okay. I'm still going to play tennis all the time because I love tennis, but might as well just go play in this event. I don't have to go to all of them. I'll just mess around occasionally. If I'm LeBron James, I would play basketball until I'm 60. And I wouldn't be I'm not giving you 30 minutes a night, but I'll Vince Carter this shit. I'll come off the bench for 10 and just jack up a couple of threes, run a pick and roll. I would do that forever. So shout out to you, Jan Blachowicz, who I think honestly will be fighting at 45 for the same reasons that Andrei Arlovsky is. I get paid pretty well and I like it. It's fun. It's a thing I like to do.
Ryan Hall. Do we get the official Ryan Hall retirement?
I hope not for AK's sake.
Neil Magny.
No, probably not. But another I didn't realize until we started this game that there are a lot of fighters who should consider retirement.
Drew Dober was another name a lot of people were throwing out.
Oh, he's definitely not going to, but he should consider retirement for his personal well-being because of the way he fights, but he won't retire.
Jim Miller, no chance.
Yeah, I just don't think we'll ever get a Jim Miller retirement. It'll be like Joe Lozon, where he just won't fight for 6 years. I'm I guess Jim's probably retired.
Alexa Grasso.
No.
Jeff Neal.
No.
Alexia
Tisha
Oleinik.
Torres.
Yeah, I think she already kind of has.
Alexia Oleinik, no. Also, in the Jan Blachowicz, I'm going to do this until I physically can't walk anymore.
Nick Diaz. Do we get an official Nick Diaz retirement?
Not an official one, but he's retired.
Conor McGregor.
Not an official one.
Nate will probably be in the same ilk, honestly.
Yeah. Never going to retire officially.
Yana Santos. I don't know why she'd retire. She's just
breakout fighter of the year.
She actually didn't, and I want to put her on my list so bad, but she has fought for a belt. She's been ranked for a long time. Her first fight, she fought Chris Cyborg.
Good gracious, I don't recall that, but okay.
It went the way you probably would have expected it to go. Chase, last one, and then we're getting out of here. Might have missed it earlier in the show, but is it possible Ilia is out an extended period of time and the UFC gives BSD or BMF winner the shot over Arman? I don't think it'll be BSD, but golly, man, if Max Holloway goes out there and just dusts up Charles Oliveira, do you think they'd throw Max in there before they threw Arman in there?
I think they shouldn't. I don't know. They might. I think they shouldn't because I think that they have solved it. Well, now they have 3 belts in the lightweight division, which is weird, but it's lightweight. You can kind of support as many belts as you want to put in there, frankly. So, like, I think this question answers what they should do. BSD fights Max for the BMF belt or Charles for the BMF belt because that's fun. And we do the fun title and then the real title. And eventually maybe you have them, the champs of each fight each other. But I think they will let Armin will fight for the belt next year. Who that's against and may win, those are up for debate. I do think he is fighting for the undisputed title, be it against Ilia in December or be it against Gaethje or Patty in June. One of those two will happen. That is my guess because what's the appetite to give Max or Charles another title fight? They have a belt.
It will be Charles. There's no way you can give it to Charles. You can't. You just can't.
Yeah, you can't. But I mean,
Max, you could.
You couldn't give it to Diego Lopez either, and they gave that motherfucker a title fight. So, I don't think there's a big appetite for I'm sure the fighter wants it, but like, does the fan base care? Max or Charles will have a belt. And so that's enough. Like there shouldn't be an uprising of people to be like, Max Holloway must fight for the lightweight belt. It's just not necessary.
Yeah. But Max just might just call for it. Which
he 100% will call for it. But like, you can call for a lot of things and not get it.
That's true. All right. We have gone a few minutes longer than I thought we would, but
it's cute.
It was a good time.
That's how they go.
We had a great time. So we have lots of stuff coming your way. Of course, as I said, our fearless travel warrior, Jose Young's in Miami. So ceremonial weigh-ins for Paul v. Joshua coming up. MMA Fighting will have all that stuff, all the face-offs, all the clips, everything you need. Tomorrow we will have our Paul X Joshua watch party, 8 p.m. Eastern. We're going to watch the main card together. All 4 fights, including the Tyron Woodley Anderson Silva fight and the Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul fight. We will watch it all together. Have a glorious time less than a week before Santa comes down the chimney. We'll probably do some sort of post-show reaction. Won't be a long one. Like, I know I say that all the time, but it truly will not be a long one because we don't have like an entire card of like MMA stuff to talk about. But we will probably do some sort of reaction, and that's pretty much it. And then next week we will have all the award stuff will start coming out. I believe the award show will drop on YouTube on Christmas. We obviously will record that
award show and Festivus on Christmas.
It's going to be a great day for everybody.
Miracle.
It's a Christmas miracle. So yes, you'll have the BTL Festivus episode. Maybe we'll drop that like a day early. Maybe it'll be like a Christmas Eve special for you guys. Award show dropping on the 25th as well. On the 28th, AK and I, we begin the 2-part Predictions Extravaganza series. And December 28th, live on the podcast network, AK and I go back through our predictions from the live show earlier this year, see how we did against one another, how we predicted champions at the end of the year, also what our bold predictions were for 2025. And then the following Sunday, January 4th, I believe, noon Eastern, on this here YouTube channel, the 2026 Predictions Extravaganza goes live. AK and I, so start submitting your questions for that. It is my favorite show of the year to do it, and it's kind of rough that we knock it out as like the first live show of the year, but that is like one of my favorites because you guys always bring up terrific questions. So thank you so much. Jed, any parting words for our wonderful viewers, because this is the last time they'll be seeing us, at least on this show, live on the YouTube channel for 2025.
Happy holidays for those who celebrate whatever holidays you're celebrating. Shout out to Sath Yasai, our Twitch viewer. We love that. Twitch, we're gonna blow up on Twitch in 2026.
We're going, baby. We're going.
Hop in for the watch party tomorrow. You can even, the fights are free. They're on Netflix. It's going to be silly and stupid. We're going to have a good time. I love you all. It's been a tremendous year, and it's not quite over yet, but let's have some more fun while we still have it. David Sandian, I don't think doing our draft live is 5. But that'll come in January. We're not going to draft for season 3 until January, where Mike will get the last pick.
I got to figure out who I'm keeping. That's a process that needs to start like today.
So, I have to do my my year-end voting today. That is,
yes.
I have to get that done. That's probably what I will do as soon as we're done here. So.
All right, everybody, have a great rest of your Thursday. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're out of here.
Ho, ho, ho. Love y'all.